believes I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Hello. I sound all nasally and super sexy. It's like that episode of Friends where Phoebe gets sick and she's like, stinky shoes, my stinky shoe. Anyway, she thinks that she sounds all sexy, and then her cold goes away and she tries to like catch a cold from Monica. Anyway, that's what I sound like, but I don't have a cold. I'm doing that freaking emotional crap where I am in a perfectly great mood. I'm happy. I'm fine. All is well. I'm not like upset by anything or sad or depressed or anything. And then I'll be watching something and just one dumb thing comes on and all of a sudden I'm bawling like a freaking lunatic. It's ridiculous. I'm watching the show The Middle, which, by the way, if you have not watched The Middle, it's hilarious and it cracks me up because it reminds me of Roseanne. I don't mean the Connors because they ditched Roseanne, so I will never, ever, ever watch the Connors just out of principle alone. So ABC, NBC, whatever the fuck network that is, can just go fuck themselves. But when Roseanne was on and, shows that are like, there's Malcolm in the middle. And when they show like, and Roseanne, they show like real life people, moms. I mean, obviously, people come in all shapes and sizes and all backgrounds. So there's the wealthy, there's the poor, there's the middle class, and there's all races. So we all have different experiences. But, um, oh my gosh, people are going to be like, oh, those are all white shows. Go figure, the white girl just mentioned a bunch of white families. Well, I can't identify as a black family, can I? I mean, I can't identify as black, can I? We know that black people are allowed to identify as white, but I could not identify as black. And so I don't really mention black families because I've been watching The Middle. My cat's making an entry, making a statement here. He's deciding that he is going to crash the podcast. But, and yeah, so I was watching The Middle and started crying like a freaking lunatic, and it turned into a whole thing, but it got me thinking. It got me thinking because I started crying about missing my mom. And when I started this podcast, the whole reason that I started this podcast was to bring awareness to dementia and Alzheimer's and just the elderly and how they're treated or mistreated, I should say, and the system and COVID procedures. Um, because I lost my mom during COVID in 2022, and I had to move my mom in 2020, October of 2020, in the height of all the COVID crap. And I didn't want to move her at all, but she was 3 hours away from me, and she had dementia. And it was before she had dementia, but she was having signs of like dementia was going to be a thing. It runs in my family, and she left her car running in her garage for like a day and a half, just left it running. She was driving and completely forgot where she was even going, why she was in the car. And I don't mean why she was going as in, when we walk into the kitchen and we're like, what was I going to get? What was I going to do? Not that. Um, and I could not move, unfortunately. So I had to make the decision to have her close to me so that I could help care for her and be around her. And I wanted to see her. But it was during COVID, and there were a lot of procedures in place put on. I live in Oregon by Kate frickin' Brown and the Democrats. And it made it extraordinarily difficult to find a place. And then if I did find a place, I was basically going to have to drop her off and go, okay, bye, I'll never see you again, because there were so many procedures in place where family members were not allowed to come visit. You were not allowed to go and visit your family. And these poor residents also weren't allowed to do any of their social activities. All social activities were canceled. There were, the residents didn't get to gather to do things like happy hour or for any of their meals or any of their art activities, any of their Wii game activities, just whatever the activity was, they didn't get to do any of it. So instead, they were locked up in their rooms and kept away from their loved ones. Well, the problem was my mom didn't quite have dementia yet, and I wanted to be able to see her before her dementia got so bad that she forgot who I was, before her dementia got so bad that it didn't matter if I didn't see her because she had no idea. I mean, I'd still go see her even if she didn't know who I was. I'd still visit her, but before it got bad, I wanted to see her, but when she still knew how to use a phone. But they kept saying to me, well, what was weird was this was the very interesting thing. At that time, they would allow people, family members, to come and get the residents and take them out of the building and go grocery shopping and go to restaurants and go do stuff. No, being around a bunch of people, being around a whole boatload of germs and bacteria and all these things that they were worried about. I wasn't worried about these things, but they were. We were allowed to go out and be around people that in their eyes were not vaccinated. Therefore, in their eyes, it was just this horrible, terrible thing. And, um, the unvaccinated were like these monsters running around. So they would let them go out and be around the unvaccinated and the germ carrying monsters, and then bring all of those germs back into the building, and then have caregivers, housekeepers, dietitians, nurses, all be able to come and see my mom and visit my mom. All of them were able to come in and visit my mom and talk to my mom and touch my mom and be around her. But I was not allowed to go into the building with the mask into her private room that she did not share with anybody else. Everybody had private rooms, and be with my mom. Everybody else could be around my mom. Even if they weren't vaccinated, they were allowed to be around my mom. They were allowed to go home to their family members who could have kids, be around their coughing, germ, disease-ridden children and their family, and then bring that all back into the residence, bring that back into the nursing care facility, the assisted living facility. That was okay. And I was allowed to bring my mom out with all the children and germ-ridden people and bring all those germs back into the facility. But I was not allowed to come in individually in a closed room, washing my hands with the mask to talk to my mom. Everybody else could touch my mom and talk to my mom, but I couldn't, and my mom couldn't talk to me. They told me I had to call her because that's the same thing. Talking to someone on the phone is just totally the same thing as, being in front of them, being there physically, and being able to physically hug them and look into their eyes because they're dying and they're not going to remember you. I was trying to beat the clock before my mom would forget who I am, and honestly, she was starting to forget how to use her phone. She didn't know how to use her phone. So they would finally periodically let us come up, and I took advantage of those times, and I stayed there and talked to her, and I was with her, and I tried to take her out, but here's the problem. My mom had a double hip surgery about a year before she moved to the assisted living, and she had COPD, and she was severely incontinent. So she had a catheter. So taking my mom out with her oxygen tank and her catheter probably wouldn't be that was pretty difficult, especially when there are perfectly healthy people that run around in those carts that don't need the carts, those electric battery carts, instead of people that actually need them, like the elderly or disabled people, just, gigantic obese people that should be walking, need to walk. They hog up all of those carts so that people that actually need them don't get them. So I couldn't take her around. It was really difficult. So because I couldn't take her out, I had to be able to come in, but we weren't allowed because the Democrats are pieces of shit. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Because the Biden administration and Kate Brown and those that are on the extreme left that believed that we should inject ourselves with a vaccine that hadn't even been out for a year yet. We had no idea what the side effects were. And they're all about my body, my choice, decided that if people didn't inject themselves with something that could very well be poisonous and dangerous, that they should be fired and lose their livelihood during COVID when things were already hard. They should be fired and not be able to pay their bills. Because, they have a different point of view. Because, Democrats, as much as they say they're all about different points of view and diversity and all getting along and love thy neighbor and love each other, it's a pack of lies. They're selling you, they're selling, what is it? They're sending an oceanfront view in Arizona. It's just the fact that it's 2025 and the libs are just still tripling down on all of this nonsense. It's just boggling my brain cells. I don't get it. So I was kept away from my mom. And finally, one day I was like, fuck this. I don't give a shit if you arrest me. Arrest me. Great. Do it. So I went and I visited her and they were like, we're going to call the cops. And I'm like, okay, you do you, Scotty P. I'll be upstairs with my mom and they can come arrest me there. And then I will call every news media outlet and radio outlet I can find, and I will videotape it. Although, here's the problem. I really did call a boatload of news media outlets, and they were all so on the Democrat side and so all up the Dems' vaginas. They were just giving the Dems an OBGYN I can't even say it, and I'm a woman. They were giving them a pap smear. We'll say that. And really just didn't give a shit. Because they're like, well, you shouldn't be going there. That's against the rules. That's against the rules. You're going to kill your mom. You're going to kill your mom. If you go in there unvaccinated, you're going to kill your mom. Oh, but the caregivers and the med techs and the housekeeping and the dietitians and the doctors and the nurses, they're not going to. Just me, her daughter. And frankly, I don't give a fuck. They're all strangers. I'm not. And if anyone's going to die, if anyone's going to be around her, it's going to be me. And she can choose who she wants to be around. But the funny thing is, they were screaming that, vaccinations, and then they were firing people. And then the problem was my mom didn't get the care she needed because the thing is, I would go up and visit my mom, and she'd been sitting in the same fucking clothes for like 10 days. I know because they would let us in. It was back when they had to someone's tested positive. One of our staff members tested positive for COVID. So we have to wait for that time period of like 10 days. And then we have to test again. And if anyone tests positive, then we have to wait another 10 days. But if not, you could see her. Well, there was a little window. And my mom was in the same fucking clothes, no shower, no nothing. Catheter looked awful. My mom ended up dying of being severely septic. Because you see, when you fire a bunch of caregivers, that means there's not enough staff to care for the residents. And you see, residents need care and they deserve care. And people are paying for care. So now you're not giving them what they're paying for, and residents are dying, not from COVID. Residents aren't dying from COVID. They're dying from being heartbroken, from being bored, from having no social life whatsoever, and from having disease because they aren't being cleaned, because their catheters aren't being cleaned. Because they're getting UTIs and bed sores, because they have depression and anxiety, because they're lonely and scared. My mom finally, when she could call me, she would call me and beg me, crying, "Please come see me, Courtney. Please come see me, Courtney. I'm so scared. I don't want to die alone. I don't want to die alone. Please come see me." And I had to try to explain to her that the fucking Democrats were keeping me away from her as she's dying and scared. And do you know what? When I posted a video about this, do you want to know what the Democrats said to me? "Good. Your mom should die if she's not going to get vaccinated. Good. Your mom deserves to die if you guys aren't going to get vaccinated." I actually got my TikTok banned from hate speech because I posted a video saying that I was upset by my mom, and I didn't even mention anything about I was pissed off at Democrats um or wanted them to die or anything like that. I was just sharing about my mom, me being kept away from my mom. And I got people giving me death threats. The peace loving Democrats. Yeah. Wishing death upon my mom and saying my mom deserved to die. My mom deserved to be scared and alone. All these people were kept away. Parents were kept away from their family. Family members died alone and scared, while strangers were allowed to care for them. Not even care for them because, like I said, everybody was short staffed because the fucking Democrats want to ruin people's lives when they don't agree with them. You all have blood on your hands and it's disgusting. And you want to talk about when you used to call not used to, still call Trump supporters deplorable? By what standards do you fucking have the right to talk? Deplorable? Ugh, just absolutely putrid. You left wingers are putrid. You're disgusting. And more people are seeing just the disgusting, vomitous, disrespectful people you are. Disrespectful is an understatement. All of your lies and karma now is coming out and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And I love it. And I'm sorry I sound sadistic, but I love it. Because for years you have taken away my livelihood. You have taken away people's family members. You've killed them. You have so much blood on your hand from all of these riots and all of the assassination attempts on Trump's life and all of the bullying and the threatening that you have done to Trump supporters and all of the burning of the flag and the destroying of small businesses. Defunding police. Are you kidding me? I love, love, love that there now has been a link to being a psychopath and a narcissist and being a leftist. Studies have shown that if you are a leftist, you are probably a psychopath. You're probably a narcissist. Sorry, I was going to say something different, but yeah. And you do have blood on your hands. And like I said, I hope that karma just shoves its fist right up there and then rinses and repeats. Because so many people have lost their loved ones, and those loved ones died scared and alone. So many people lost their businesses and their livelihoods and couldn't pay their bills and had to give up their businesses and give up their homes and give up their jobs. Or they ended up caving in and injecting themselves with something that caused them health issues or to die. Or just gave up their morals and principles and maybe their religious beliefs because they got bullied into injecting themselves with something, all from people that scream, "My body, my choice." It is enough. It's enough. It needs to end. Thank God people are waking up. Thank God. I don't think we can survive as a country if the Democrats are cracking me up because right now they're all just like these scared little cockroaches just fleeing back to the baseboards because they know that their gravy train is over. They know that the crumbs are gone. And now they have to figure out how to live in the walls for a while because they know that they have their hand in the cookie jar and they know that the reason that they want these things closed down, it's been shown, it's been proven. It's not that they know, it's been proven. They're corrupt as fuck. And it cracks me up that the people that cry the loudest are the ones that are the most corrupt. Hillary Clinton, Chelsea, AOC, Obama. It's just, it's sad to me that I have worked my ass off and now my kids and I might have Social Security, who knows, but my kids won't. They're paying taxes like they will. They're paying for it like they will. I just had to pay $9,000. I've paid, and I don't mean that's how much my bill was. I paid $9,000 in taxes this year, and now the government wants another $800. They're telling me that wasn't enough. You owe $800 for taxes this year. $9,800, and I am not even middle class. I'm not even middle class. And I just got $9,000 that I paid in taxes, all to go for transgender operas in fucking, what was it, Poland or something, whatever. It doesn't matter, in some other country, even if it's this country. Even if it's America, I don't want to pay for a transgender opera. I don't actually want to pay for a straight opera. That's what tickets are for, not our taxes. I don't need to pay for anything in other people's countries. And I certainly don't need to pay for Chelsea Clinton to be living in a fucking mansion. And I don't need to be paying for politicians' dinners and gifts. Oh, it's just absolutely. Yeah, I don't think anyone is in the mood to pay taxes this year. We shouldn't pay them at all. And the fact that the government is actually sticking out their hand and going, gimme, 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 gimme. It wasn't enough. It's like the seagulls on frickin' Finding Nemo. Mine, 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 mine. Jesus. We should just all not fucking pay our taxes. Obviously, they got enough. They got enough taxes. They don't need more. And I don't fucking care if they need more. And then I love how people are like, how come prices haven't gone down? How come prices haven't gone down yet? How come our economy isn't skyrocketing yet? It's been a month. A month. 1 day, 1 month. 1 month, not a year. 1 month. Jesus Christ. Fucking Clinton, Obama, and Biden haven't done what Trump has done in 1 month. In what they did when they were president. When they were a president and when they were running this country, Trump has done more than all of them combined in 1 month. But yet somehow people are like, why hasn't he done this? Why hasn't he done that? Because it's been a month. Jesus fucking Christ, people. 1 month. My Lord, in the time of like, give me, faster, faster, now, want, me, want, now, want. Shut up. It's not all about you, narcissistic left. It's not all about you. There are other people that live on this planet. Do you have, pull your head out of your armpits, your hairy fucking armpits. Pull your head out of each other's crotches. Stop looking down each other's pants to see if you have a pee-pee or a wee-wee. Stop checking each other out. Stop fondling each other and sniffing each other's heads. Stop painting your hair all these different colors because I think the fumes are getting to you. My God. Have some dignity. If you don't have any respect for yourself, if you have no respect for yourself and you have no dignity for yourself, and if you are not educated and if you sound ignorant How in the hell do you want anyone else to have respect for you? And how dare you think that we're going to look at you and think that you're an educated person when everything that comes out of your mouth is an opinion and you're calling people names and you don't have a single fact or a statistic to back it up? And when someone asks you for one, you just start doing the whole, you're a bigot, you're a racist, the same old Groundhog Day, tired old crap that you've been doing for years now. So, of course, people aren't going to think that you're educated and no one's going to take you seriously. And I'm sorry, but when you're sitting here screaming and crying and yelling at the top of your lungs and crying, no one's going to treat you like an adult because you're behaving like a child. And when you're not being respectful and you're not being kind to others, people aren't going to treat you kind and they're not going to be respectful. But yet you demand it. You demand that the other people treat you totally different than you treat them. You demand different rights, not the same rights. You cry equality, equality, yet you want different, different. Do you see how it's confusing? Do you see how that might make people a little insane? Now, listen, like I've said before, I don't give a rat's behind what color your hair is, what you dress like, how many piercings you have. I don't care. I love it all. Express yourself. We're on this planet. Like I said, only once we're on this planet. You do you. But again, you know for a fact when you get a face piercing, people are going to see it. And you're doing it, yes, for you. And you're doing it because you want it. But you're also doing a face tattoo because people can see it, right? You're certainly not trying to hide it. So you can't be all shocked and awed when people, like, look at you because it's on your face. And people usually tend to look at someone at their face. They look at their face when they're talking. So odds are we're going to see your face tattoo when we're speaking to your face. So don't be like, oh my God, he's totally looking at my face. Yeah, I'm looking at your face. And on your face is a big old face tattoo. People don't look at Mike Tyson and go, oh, I didn't even notice. I didn't notice that you have a face tattoo. Yeah, you did. You did. Just like you noticed that he's black, just like you noticed that he's bald, just like you noticed that he's huge, just like you noticed that he has a lisp, because people notice things because that's what we are. We're humans and we notice things. That's what we're on this earth to do. Men and women are supposed to notice each other and procreate and shit, So if you have big spiky hair, then people are going to notice. If you're a dude dressed up like a girl in a girl's bathroom, people are going to notice. And if you're in my bathroom, I'm going to fucking kick your ass and you're going to leave pretty fucked up. Not a threat. Don't be like, oh my God, she's threatening transgender. No, I'm threatening men in my space when I am vulnerable, especially when it gives me PTSD because of my background and I don't need a man in my fucking bathroom, when I have my pants down and they're bigger than me. And even if they're not bigger than me, I don't need a man in there. I barely do women in the bathroom. I can't even stand other women in the bathroom. I don't even like peeing in public bathrooms at all. So if there's a dude in there, it's not going to be a threat. It's a promise that I will absolutely do something about it. Anyway, it's been an emotional day. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't want people to forget what the Biden administration and the Democrats, the crazy left, did with COVID, and how many businesses were ruined and destroyed, and how many people were homeless and lost their livelihoods, and how many people lost loved ones because they were alone and scared, and they got their whole life uprooted for no reason whatsoever. And then everybody called us conspiracy theorists. And it turned out, no, you see, there's this thing. It's called education. It's called research. It's called doing your homework. It's called being educated. And I know. The left is not about any of that. I get it. They're not about being pretty on the inside or the outside. They're not about bathing or, intelligence. They're just about screaming and crying and men dressing up like women and women dressing up like men. Cute little bunch you have there. Real cute. Real cute. But again, you do you. If that's what makes you happy, do it. But don't fucking come in my space and try telling me what to do. That's not going to fly. And the majority of America has decided that we're planting our flag, we're putting our feet down, and we're not going to be fucking bullied. We're not going to be barked at from little chihuahuas. Take a seat. Pretend this is the 50s and get on the back of the bus. Yep, I said it, and I mean it. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about leftists. Leftists can take a seat in the back. Back of the bus, back of the stadium, whatever. Take a seat. It's ridiculous. No one wants to listen to you anymore. I feel like that bully that has the little kid that's coming at you and you just put your hand out and you have him by the head and they're like, let me at him, let him at him. And you're just like holding him at arm's length while they're just sitting there trying to swing at you. You got no ammo left. You're shooting blanks. And yeah, I realize shooting blanks doesn't mean anything about guns. I got it. I meant it both. You are shooting blanks because you're probably a woman trying to pretend that she has a dick. Oh, it's just crazy. I don't know what's happened to this world, but I have a grandson and man, I hope this balance itself out. I hope it balances out because things are just crazy. Like I said, I don't care if you're transgender. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you identify as a tree. None of that. I don't care what you wear. Like I said, I have piercings and I have tattoos and I love them. Love art. Love all of it. I love when people can rock a mohawk. I think they look fantastic on a lot of people. I think if you have a face tattoo, you do it. Again, all I'm saying is don't be shocked and awed when you get the exact attention that you're clearly wanting. I know when I get tattoos, I want people to look at them. I know that when women have their boobs half hanging out, it's because you do want them to look at them. If you wouldn't, you would absolutely hide them. If you got a slit in your skirt, you want people to check out your leg. If you didn't, you would hide it. I'm just saying own it. And I'm just saying appreciate other people's differences. Don't be mad at other people for not having a mohawk, for not having piercings, for not having tattoos, for not believing the same things that you do. Because remember, it goes both ways. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, you can probably hear my dogs and stuff snoring in the background, snoring away. Anyway, on a different note, thank you so very much for tuning in. I absolutely am loving every time I get on and I look to see if somebody else has tuned in. And even if it's one person, I'm like, oh my God, yes, that is so amazing. I absolutely appreciate every single person that has chosen um, to take a listen. It means a lot to me. It honestly does, because again, I started this to try to bring awareness to dementia, and um, I'm, I know this is different than most podcasts. I'm not in a studio and I'm not, spending any money on editing or any of that. And I understand that it's probably really annoying because I should edit. I should take out the times that I'm crunching food and drinking water and coughing and, my dogs and I'm yelling at my dogs and my dogs are barking in the background. I probably should edit all of that out. I'm sure I should. And I probably need to actually put up a YouTube video where you can see my face and I'm talking and you can, watch along instead of just listening. I need to do a lot of things, but it took a lot for me to even start doing this podcast. I'm now in my second year and I'm just now getting comfortable. So I definitely need to do a podcast where on YouTube where you can actually see my face. I need to do a lot, but for now, this is what you get. So the fact that in spite of all of that, in spite of all that nonsense, you are still here, you're still listening, and I appreciate it so much. So I hope you are having an amazing day, afternoon, evening, and I hope it brings you something good. You deserve something good. You listened to me, so karma should reward you for taking the opportunity to listen to me. I hope karma finds you and rewards you. Thank you so much. Until next time.